welcome back to Sports Talk Live. We have a lot to cover today, but first, just a reminder to visit our website, sportstalklive.net. From there, you can vote on our poll question, visit our Facebook and Twitter pages, ask us a question, and a reminder, if there's any sport that you want us to cover, be sure to let us know. So let's kick it off talking about football as they dominated Millersville 56-14 this past Saturday. Let's get started.
Well, guys, star quarterback Mike Matei had a great game. He went 16 for 20 for over 350 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. Another important fact, though, is that he was named Co-Offensive Player of the Week in the PSAC, and he had more touchdowns this week, 6, than incompletions, just 4. Now, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is, but while the offense played tremendous this week, we can't overlook the defense. They absolutely shut this Millersville team down, holding to only 74 yards on the ground all game. They averaged just 2.2 yards a carry, and then through the air, they didn't have much more success. They only had 159 yards passing for a 4.7 average compared to Westchester's 18.2 average per completion.
Yeah, you're right. Their defense really did step up, and obviously Mike Matei was a star, but he did have a little bit of help. Eric Brundage caught 3 touchdown passes for 156 yards, so that's a really solid game. It's going to be really interesting to see how Westchester can match up against Kutztown this week.
While that was a good win for us over Millersville, they're not supposed to be that great of a team this year, so we can't take too much from it. This week, though, September 22nd, we face Kutztown, who is picked to come in first in the PSAC East. So it'll be interesting to see how we match up against them and what kind of points we can put up. Do you guys really think they're going to pull off the win at Kutztown?
I mean, for me, I do. Kutztown is 1-2, but one of their losses was to Cal U, who's ranked 20th in the country. So that was a tough game. They only lost by 3. From the momentum from the last game, I think they really have a good shot. And scoring all those points, it might not be as much, but I think that we'll score a lot and we'll come out with the victory.
Yeah, I have to agree. Obviously, Kutztown's a really strong team, so it's not going to be as easy as Millersville. We're not going to put up 56 points like you just said.
Right.
But I see us pulling it out. I think it's going to be a 21-17, so a lot closer, but Golden Rams are going to win it.
Yeah, I think right now, as well as our offense and our defense are playing, we're playing the best football of any team in the conference. So I think we will be able to go into Kutztown and pull out a victory. Low scoring, not 56 points, maybe 28-24 Westchester. But that's it for football. Let's take a look at women's soccer. They're having a great year this year.
Westchester's women's soccer team has been perfect so far this season with a record of 7-0. Their most recent victory being over Shippensburg 5-0. They look to stay perfect as they play Cal this Saturday the 22nd at 12 p.m.
Soccer is all about the goalie, and for us, Shannon Fick has been playing out of her mind. So far through the season, he's only allowed 1 goal, and in the last 3 games, we've outscored our opponents 10-0. So behind her and the defense so far, who's really been helping her out, there's no reason why we shouldn't have started 7-0 like we did.
And you're right, it does start with goaltending, but you still have to have people who can put the ball in the back of the net, and the Lady Rams have been doing that very well this year. They've been led by Ashley Saylor and Melissa McCary, who have 5 goals apiece, and just really, they've been fueling this team all season.
Well, I'm going to point out a great senior leader so far this year, actually a Neshaminy alum, my high school. So that's Jen Hutchinson, and she's been playing great. She had 2 goals in their most recent victory. So hopefully everyone stays hot. We keep scoring goals and not letting any goals up. But how do you guys see us playing against Cal this weekend?
Well, for me, Cal's a good team. They're ranked in the top 25, so it's going to be tough. But I think overall we have a good team also. You know, we're ranked in the top 10, and I think we're going to pull it out. It's going to be close, but I'll say like 1-2-0.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we haven't let up a goal all year. I don't see that trend stopping. I see us doing that, and I'm right there with you, 1 or 2-0.
Well, I agree with you guys. I do think that Westchester is going to be able to pull out the win. Probably not as easy as their last 2 wins, but I'm going to take a guess here. I'm going to say 3-1 Westchester are going to be able to pull it out. But that's all we have for soccer. Let's take a look at the women's field hockey team.
The defending champs won an impressive 2-0 this week, winning both home games by a combined score of 12-0. This included a 6-0 victory over the 7th-ranked LIU Post. This week, they dive headfirst into PSAC play, hosting Millersville on Saturday the 22nd, and then visiting ESU on Wednesday the 25th. They've won 4 straight games, so let's hope they keep up the good work as they head into conference play. Brian, Taylor, do you see them tripping up in either 2 games this week?
I think there's no shot, Riley. I think that they're going to win every game for the rest of the season. I know it's a little bold, but ranked number 2 in the country, I think their players have been tested last year. They're returning starters, and I just don't think that there's a shot that they're going to mess it up at all this year. I think they're going to come through with victory.
I'm not going to be as bold as you. I will say that I don't think they're going to lose this week. ESU and Millersville, neither team has been very impressive this year, so they should just take care of business.
Well, Taylor, that was a little bit bold. I don't think that they're going to be able to win the rest of their games for the entire season. But as for this week, I think they're going to be able to get both W's. So hopefully they stay on the winning track and maybe bring home another national title. As usual, we finish up here with some Outside the Horns. Tim Mulqueen wrote on our Facebook page. Tim said, I have a question directly for Taylor. You said the Eagles weren't going to be able to handle the Ravens. Now that they pulled off the W, how many wins do you think they're going to have this season?
Well, Tim, I'll take the blame on this one. I was totally wrong. I thought the Eagles were going to come out and play flat, and they didn't. Vic played well, and at the end, he came through when we needed it, and he got the win against a really good team. So I can admit when I'm wrong, and I think they actually played well, and I think moving forward, they will play well. So I want to go around 10-6. I'm still not sold as much as some of the other people are, being 2-0, but I think 10-6 is a good number for how we've been playing so far this season.
Yeah, I don't agree with you often, Taylor, but I'm going to agree with you here. 10-6, 9-7 should be a good mark for the Eagles, and you look at who they have to play. They have to play the Cowboys twice, they have to play the Giants twice, and they have to play the Redskins twice. And none of those games are easy games because we all saw how good the Redskins are playing to start the year. So if we get through that, if we get 9-7, 10-6, that'll be enough to win the division and get us in the playoffs.
Well, you guys just kind of stole my 11 or 10-6, so I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to be a little more bold. I'm going to say 11-5 is going to be how they're going to end the season. I'm a little nervous because these first two games, well, they did win them, but it wasn't that pretty. So hopefully Vic continues to play well, and maybe he can start off a game kind of like he's been ending it, and then just have the lead going into the entire game. That'd be nice.
And another thing is, though, is we got to make sure the key is really if he's hurt or not. Last game, he got hit a little bit early, but in the second half, he was able to go and step up and make the passes. And if he's able to do that, he can play effective. It just happens when the pressure gets to him and he doesn't play as well and he gets hurt. That's when we're going to have the problem. But if they play the way they've been playing, I think we'll be okay, actually.
And another thing is we're going to have to see some younger guys step up on the receiving end. Macklin is ruled out for this week. So Johnson, the rookie, who had a big mistake last week in fielding a punt in his 3-yard line, he's going to have to step up offensively and make a few plays for us.
Yeah, and Kelsey being down, I think it's really going to hurt us because I think people take for granted how important the center position is. So it's going to be really interesting to see if we have any botched snaps and stuff like that, because that could really come down to hurt us.
And he organizes the whole offensive line. He makes sure everybody is picking up blitzers and whatnot, so it'll be very important for our backup to step up into those shoes.
Well, what about this week? How do you see them matching up against the Cardinals?
Okay, again, it's against the Cardinals, so I'm going to say a W. It's at Arizona, and they're 2-0. They just shocked the Patriots. So I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think a lot of people think that we're going to go in there and just blow them out, and their defense is actually pretty good. But I think with Cobb, who we all know, I was a big fan of Cobb back in the day, but now that he's gone, we see that he's not quite as good as what we thought, or at least what I thought. So I'm thinking around the 28-14 kind of range. It's still going to be within reach, but I think we're going to beat them good at the end, though.
I think we're going to have a lights-out game. We're going to come out firing to start. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say 28-14. I think we're going to win it.
Well, I'm not sold. I think we got to be careful. I think this is very upset worthy for the Cardinals. They've been playing very well. It's in Arizona. I mean, we're coming off a high. We just beat the Ravens. It was a very good win for us. I think we'll scrape it out, but I don't think it'll be pretty, and I think it's going to be very close. I'm going to say 17-16.
All right, sounds good. Well, guys, we have to talk about the Phillies, considering they are coming down to the end of their season. It's been a tough couple of weeks, they losing to the Astros and everything, but how do you see their season ending up?
Well, I was a lot more optimistic before we lost 3-4 to Houston, but we bounced back nicely. We swept the Mets, which we really needed, but we're still 4 games back of St. Louis, and I really just don't like our chances at this point.
I had to agree with you, Riley. It's just a little bit too little too late, in this instance. They've been playing well since the middle of August. They've been playing great. They had a 7-game winning streak. They were just playing lights out. But again, you lose 1 or 2 here at the end, and we don't have it. The Cardinals are still 4 games up on us, so they have to lose a bunch, and we have to win basically all of our games. So I want to say that we're going to do it, because last week I said we were going to win it all, but it's almost mathematically impossible at this point. So.
Well, guys, I'm not counting them out just yet. We really did have a good series against the Mets, and unfortunately, we are playing the Braves, who always play us really tough. And I said last week I thought that it was going to be LA that was going to knock us out, but obviously I was wrong, because it looks like St. Louis is going to be the team that's really going to be hard to pass, as they're 4 games ahead of us.
Still 4 games ahead of us, and they're starting a series with the Cubs, and then they got to go back to Houston. Well, I don't know if they have to play Houston again, who they just swept, so it's not looking good for us.
No, and again, at least we can take this and take it for next year. You see some of these players that are playing really well. Even Howard with the Grand Slam last night. It was just nice to see them come up and actually play the way that we were used to seeing them play. So although it's a little too late for us, I think for next year, I think we have a lot running for us. And even Kendrick, who, again, hasn't pitched as well earlier, has been pitching great lately. And I just think there's a lot to look forward to for next year.
Well, can we just talk about last night for a second? Because they won 16 to 1.
16 to 1, yeah.
And that just doesn't happen very often.
Right, eight runs in the first inning. I was just waiting for them to get it out. I think they had 4 runs, and the bases were loaded when they took out their starting pitcher. So, with that, and at the end with Howard's grand slam, like I said, we're looking good. It's just, again, a little bit too late.
Well, guys, we talked about the Eagles, we talked about the Phillies, so I think it's time for us to talk about the Sixers, considering all that buzz that they created in the past few months. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm really excited about this signing. I mean, not just Bynum, but Richardson, even though he's old, can still shoot the ball pretty well, and Jody Meeks is gone, so he can fill in there. But Bynum, it's all about whether he can stay healthy and give 100% each and every night.
And with Bynum, I mean, he can't do it all by himself. Our players we have now, Drew Holiday, Evan Turner, we lost Lou Williams.
Thad Young, though, we still have.
Right, yeah, so we still have him, but overall, they have to play well, too, in order for us to utilize Andrew Bynum correctly. So, again, if they play well, I think Bynum even gets better, so I think they work off each other in a way.
Well, I'm a little bit nervous because, a few years back we signed Chris Webber, and that was, kind of a bust. And then we signed Elton Brand, and, that didn't work out as well as we wanted it to. And I know they were a lot older, but, still, they were big name players that were coming into Philadelphia, and it just didn't work out well. So I'm not sold until we start getting the W's on the board. And I don't know. We still have the Heat in our division or in our conference, and the Celtics. What do you guys think? Do you think we're better than the Celtics now, or?
I do. I think they lost Ray Allen, and so it's only Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, and they're not getting any younger. I think we're above them. Obviously, we're still behind the Heat, but I mean, the Brooklyn Nets are a lot more improved this year. But I think we should compete for the division title and a top 3 seed easily.
Right. And another thing for the fans is, right away, if we don't play that well, don't worry about it. It might take towards the end of the season until we really start to gel and we actually become a great team. So at the beginning, if we lose a couple games, I wouldn't be too worried. I would wait until the end and see where we are.
With the signing of Andrew Bynum and Jason Richardson, this week's poll question is going to be, will the Sixers' winning percentage be better or worse than last year? But that's all the time we have for this week's edition of Sports Talk Live. Stay tuned next week, same time, same place. Take it easy, Westchester.